Hi everyone, welcome to my next video in the 2017 camping season. I'm approaching Yogi Bear's Jellystone Park in Natural Bridge, Virginia. I apologize for shaky cam. I forgot my GoPro with a magnet mount and ended up using my Galaxy S7, which has really good image stabilization, but not perfect. But here we are coming into the entrance, and to the right you can see they have a nice playground, a little water slide, we'll get to that in a minute, a store, a big mess hall, a pool, and then this is considered the lower campground. In a minute we'll go there. On the other side of the road there's a upper campground. So there's just a few spots here up front as we go down over the hill towards the river. If I can remember what the river name is, I'll put it in here. Maybe I'll insert a title or something. We'll stop and pan over. They got a mini golf. You can see a little bit here of the water slide. It wasn't open. This was done in April, so it's a little too cold yet to open up. The little footbridge on the left crosses over to a pond you can fish, catch and release. Then you got this large pond with the inflatables, and a lot of kids were swimming. I heard the water was pretty chilly. My kids swam, but kids can take the cold better than I can, that's for sure. Now we're starting to approach more of the main camping area down here on the flatter near the river. We'll come back and look at that. But hopefully you can see there's a little boat ramp. You could carry a kayak. There's the Black Pearl, that's my rig. More shots of the inflatable. You got to walk up a little hill to see the pond, which makes it a little tough if you have, kids in the age where you want them to just walk and go swim on their own and you can't quite see over the hill. I guess it's just whatever you're comfortable with as a parent. I'm probably a little more paranoid than most. And here's a little loop around. And we had a lot of the trailers in here, but it'll easily take fifth wheels and Class C's and A's. We'll go on around the loop. It's a really pretty farm or something next to it. Looks like it's private, and they're set up to camp over there. That'd be a cool place to own. And then here's the riverside spots. These do have some water and electric, but I'm not sure if you can put big rigs over there. I saw a lot of the pop-ups in the tent campers over there. We're just coming back to loop. This place is outside of Lynchburg, Virginia. I don't know, 30 miles. It's a bit of a drive, a little windy road. There you can see the river is flowing really nice. It wasn't super deep. But it is very wide, and right across the river is a Csx Train Track. Looks like it ran mostly coal trains, and they run fairly regular, and they're not really loud. They're not intrusive at all, so if you're into trains, it's kind of fun to watch the trains go by. And they got central trash so that they pick up. You don't leave it outside your camper, just drop it in a can. And then you can see up on the hill, that's the main building, and they've got a store in there. And then right there up on the hill, you see that retainer wall. There's a couple of those big bouncy things you put in the ground. I don't know if they're filled with air, I assume. Really thick rubber, and the kids were just loving that place, bouncing all over. Of course, they got all the warnings, don't do flips or anything, and every other kid's up there doing flips, so it doesn't look like they enforce it. They probably just warn you, and that gets them out of liability maybe. But I didn't see it getting too crazy, so I was fine letting the kids jump up there with the older kids. And again, they've got the bear you can take pictures with. They got the nice playground there. On the back side there's a little water park, spray park. That's cool. Again, it was too cold, so none of that was open. And I think that's mostly trailer storage over there. Those are not lots. And then I'm going out the other exit. We'll drive 100 yards down the road and go into the Upper Campground is what they call it. But it's kind of on a hill above this area. And it's much bigger. A lot more rigs in there. So we just passed the entrance to the lower campground and just crossed the street here. Overall, we had a good time. We did some sightseeing in Lexington. We got to see some of the historic sites there. The Washington Lee College. And then I believe you have VMI there. So we kind of did a little walking tour of the town. Visited the historic campus and a little Lee Museum in the bottom of the chapel. And then on the right side of the car, you got a lot of campers. And this goes way back up in the woods. I was really surprised how big this area was up here. And outside of Lexington, I'm not sure what the attraction is in this area. You can fish in the river. We weren't there very long, so we didn't explore too much outside of Lexington, which is 20 minutes away. But we also went through, there's a Drive-Thru Safari park where you can feed the animals. And you can either ride in one of their wagons that they pull with a tractor or drive your own car. We decided to drive ourselves. So you can see they got some bathrooms over there, and they've got another playground for this side of the park. But I highly recommend the animal park and feeding. The bison were really funny because they're very aggressive, pulling the buckets out of your hand. I mean, how do you stop a 2,000-pound animal from doing what it wants to do? So it spilled some feed in my car, but it's dry food, so it vacuums right out. But the kids really enjoyed it. It's mostly, I believe, African animals there. A lot of deer and antelope type animals, zebras, giraffes. You can't feed the zebras and giraffes at your car, but there is a feeding station for the giraffe. I'm going to try to put together another video of that and put up later. It's a bunch of short segments, so I will have to work on that in my spare time. And then up here you got some more cabins. I assume they're like every other cabin you go in. They're all wood, small bathroom, small kitchen, maybe a loft style bed. It's pretty fun staying those too. But this one looks pretty active. Families, bikes to ride around. Now there is the road coming in is pretty windy, and I did see some cyclists. I don't recommend cycling out there on these types of roads. I grew up in the mountains of Virginia myself, and cars, it's just too fast nowadays, blind corners. I've had friends with too many close calls and actually getting shoved off the road. So I don't choose to ride on, especially these types of mountain roads myself. But it is certainly challenging terrain if you're looking to improve your conditioning. And they got an outside theater here, which is really cool. One night they had a scheduled movie, but I believe it was in this like kind of dining hall area on the other side, that big building I showed you a minute ago. We didn't choose to attend, but I'm sure the kids enjoy the movies like that. It's something they remember as they get older. My kids are still 10 and 12, so they're really enjoying these types of trips and the fun family things. I suppose when you get into 15, 16-year-olds, maybe they're not as interested in some of those types of activities. But now people were looking at me a little funny. I'm holding my left hand out the window the whole time with my Galaxy S7. And I must say I was getting quite tired all this driving with my arm hanging out, trying to keep the camera steady. But I was really impressed with the camera's image stabilization. I mean, if you see this, not only is the car bouncing, but so is my hand. So this in-camera stabilization is really quite impressive. And we'll go back across and check out the campsite itself. I believe I have a short clip I can link in of the campsite showing you the hookups. See, the tree was in bloom. North Carolina was where I live now, is already well bloomed out. And so it was kind of neat to come up to Virginia and see them behind. Here we are at the campsite of the Black Pearl. And it was reasonably wide enough. You know, we had 4 chairs out. Couple tables, 3 tables. The picnic table was there. The other tables were mine. Got some stuff drying from the kids. And it was a pull-in, which was nice. I didn't have to take the dolly off. Anybody that tows with a dolly knows that messing with 550 pounds of dollies, not great on your back. It had 30, I believe even 50 amp at this site. Water spigot. And then sewer. I was a little put off, the sewer's kind of high, so the drainage was not great. I only had to use a couple blocks to level it, so that wasn't too bad. I imagine with the winter and rains, the lots where there we got our flag marking our territory. Here we are walking down to the river. They got kind of a crude ramp. It was probably in better condition in years past, but you could easily walk kayaks, canoes. I saw several people going down and talked to somebody here that actually does do trips down this river every year with family. You'd really got to plan where you get out. Downriver from here are several of the dams, so I don't know how you get around those. I don't have any pictures, I don't think, of those, which is unfortunate. But everything was just budding out while we were there, so it was really, really pretty. Again, across the river there's the railroad tracks. As I said, the river is extremely wide. Very scenic. And we waded out in it, you know, in just whatever river shoes. It was the water was cool, but you know, not uncomfortable. And there you go.